Good morning. It's like 7:30 in the morning. I'm here in my office here in Harlem. Um, I usually get up early and I have a lot of thoughts on my mind. Today I just said I just need to jump on here because I want to say something right quick. I woke up this morning. I woke up angry. I'm not even gonna lie. Really, I woke up pissed off because I was just thinking like, dang, I wasted a lot of time and that my life ain't where it's supposed to be. And I know that there's more for me. Have you ever had the sense that like there's more for your life and you just don't know how to get there? You confess it. You put it on a vision board. You pray for it. You look at it in the morning. You point at it. You speak about it. You dream about it. But it's just like it's not there. And you know, I had an epiphany this morning because I was thinking about the incident that happened with Peter. You know Peter, who was with Jesus, the apostle Peter, the one who ended up denying him, the one who fell away from the fold and then came back, the one who was the fisher. And Jesus said, I'm going to make you a fisher of men. This isn't a religious point. This is a really salient point I want to make here. Because really, when I read the Bible, I get so many practical messages from it. And, it's interesting because Peter is in the boat with all these disciples. They see Jesus. It looks like a ghost. Everybody's scared. Peter stands up and says, Lord, if it's you, bid me to come out on the water. And I know we only focus on the last part of the story because he starts walking and he looks at the wave and he falls down into the ocean. And Jesus has to pick him up and said, oh, ye of little faith. And everybody that preaches and teaches and talks about it, they vilify Peter. And Peter is this miscreant and this man of little faith and somebody who's rebellious and disobedient and defiant. And how could you be like Peter and have little faith? But if Peter had little faith and he had the nerve, the gall, the chutzpah to get up out of the boat, what does it say about the rest of the disciples who sat there seeing Jesus and said, I'm going to stay where I am? And I came to the realization this morning, I've been living a lot of my life in the boat. And I can't say it was God that told me this because I don't think God uses this language. But I heard within myself, it's time to get the hell out of the boat. I'm tired of being stuck in one place, in one situation in my life. And a lot of people are like this. They go from job to job, career to career, relationship to relationship, bed to bed, and nothing gets better. The cycle still continues. They're in the boat. And I woke up this morning and I said, you know what? It's time to get the hell out of the boat. One of my favorite books, right here. You got to keep a good book with you at all times. Good to Great. Jim Collins. How good organizations become great. And one of the things he says is like the first line in his book, he said, good is the enemy of great. Because what he's intimating is that when we get in a comfort zone, it's hard to get out. And it's one thing when things are really bad, because then we really want to change. But when things are kind of good and we're coasting and everything is fine and dandy, we get comfortable. And those disciples, they were comfortable. Yes, they were scared because they looked and they didn't know if it was a ghost or if it was Jesus. But then when they realized it was Jesus and perhaps he's walking to them or he's passing over to the other side, they got comfortable. And many of us find ourselves in the same situation. Some of us declare that Jesus is the Christ and we're saved and born again. But we're comfortable. And so we're stuck where we've been 10 years ago, 20 years ago, a year ago. Nothing really changes. The characters change. The plot hasn't. The jobs change. The plot hasn't. And so we find ourselves stuck in a cycle of mediocrity. And so I don't say these words lightly, get the hell out of the boat, because that's where the enemy wants to keep us, in the boat, in the comfort zone. I've come to realize the enemy really doesn't want things to go really bad for you, because when things really go bad for you, that's when you get angry enough to make a change. They said there's 7 types of anger, but there's one, and all of them are destructive except for one type, and it's called constructive anger. And constructive anger is when we get so mad, so pissed off that we say enough is just enough. And I think that's where Peter was. I think that he was, people say that it was somehow his loyalty to Jesus that made him get out of the boat. I don't think that's what it was. I think they're making it deep and spooky, and it doesn't have to be. I think that he had a frustration about life. He was tired of sitting in the boat, hearing the other disciples complain and moan about what could have been and what had been and what perhaps could be if things had changed. I think he got to this point where he said, Lord, I'm tired of this, of seeing you do things, and then I'm supposed to sit back and watch as if I can't. But wasn't it you that said that greater works than I you'll do? Wasn't it you that said that the power that's within you the power that's within me is within you? Was it not you that said that if I abide in you and you abide in me, you can ask anything according to my will and it'll be done? Was it not you that said that life and death and the power of the tongue? And I think that Peter got to this point where he said, I'm tired of playing church. I'm tired of reading scriptures. I'm tired of acting like everything's okay on Sunday and living like hell for the rest of the week. And he said, I've got to get the hell out of the boat. And so though he fell and he sunk and he failed, but you know what? He really didn't fail, because he taught us all a lesson. And that is to have the chutzpah to get out of the boat. I want to say this last thing and then I'm going to go, because I really got to start working. I have some things we got to take care of today, a lot of clients. But let me start with this, end with this. Theodore Roosevelt, I love a good quote. I love a good story. And Theodore Roosevelt, his story is absolutely amazing. He was the youngest person to ever be president. Most people think it's John F. Kennedy. That's not true. He was the youngest elected at 43. Theodore Roosevelt became president upon the death of President William McKinley in 1901, I believe it was, at 42 years old. But anyway, he had most people tend to talk about the end of his life. They don't know about the beginning, when his mother and his wife and his baby died on the same day. That's a whole nother thing. And how he dealt with a lot of tragedy and a lot of struggle. And he said this toward the end of his life. This man became president. This man really revolutionized not just politics in this country, but the way this country is. Some people say that he was the first person to really put us on a path to be a superpower. He boosted the military. He put in place the park system. We get Yosemite Park and all these other parks. That was his idea. Even the concept of the teddy bear is named after him because he was such a great hunter. But I don't want to get into a whole history lesson. But he said this toward the end of his life. He talked about what's called the man in the arena. He said, the glory really goes to the man in the arena. These are his words. Yeah, he's marred by blood and sweat. Thank you for that. But and good morning, by the way. But the glory goes to the man in the arena. And he says, the best thing that can happen for him is that he wins. But then maybe he loses. But if he fails having dared greatly. And I want to say this to somebody out there, particularly this morning. Get the hell out of the boat. Stop letting the enemy put thoughts of failure in your mind. Will you fail? Will you make mistakes? Of course you're going to make mistakes. That's part of the process. But don't let the mistakes stop you from moving forward. So many people get stuck in life because they're scared of what will happen if they get out of the boat. And that's why we say these corny things like, well, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. The devil is a liar. Who told you that? Who told you that? Who told you and got us to believe that it's better to be stuck in the mediocrity that we've been in for years, for some of us for decades, than to take a chance and there's something to be greater? I'd rather die walking. I'd rather die reaching for something. I'd rather die trying to get to Jesus. I'd rather die and they say, you know what, he tried to do something that nobody else did, rather than because I know what's not working. I know what's not happening. And so as I talk to you, I'm really talking to me, and I had to vent some of this because, like I said, I woke up this morning pissed off. Excuse my language, but I was pissed off because I said, you know what, Darrell, it's time to get out of the boat. It's time to get out of the boat. So this morning, my motivation for you and for everybody that sees this later is to get out of the boat. It's time. It's your season. It's your moment. Don't miss it.